Hello, everyone. My name is Shofan Jacobson. I am a AP Computer Science teacher at Valentine Ridge High in North Carolina. And I'm so happy to see you here. And I have been teaching AP Computer Science principles since this course is first launched in 2016. And I have been an AP reader for this course since 2017. I love to teach this course. Again, I'm so excited to see you all here. And this is the agenda for today. First, we're going to review the Code High School AP course, AP CSP courses. And then we're going to take a look at AP course audit process. Then we're going to look into the course pacing. And then finally, we're going to get to examine the performance test. Finally, we're going to land on review materials Code High School offered for you, and as well as the AP classroom offered for you. So according to College Board AP Computer Science Principles Curriculum Framework, the high school students will have about 145 to 175 contact hours in a year. So most of us use the A-day, B-day schedule, and some of us use a semester schedule, but doesn't matter, 145 and 175 contact hour is needed for the kids to find success in this class. So now let's take a look at the courses Code High School offered to us. So Code High School offer AP Computer Science principle in JavaScript, in Python, and cybersecurity. So I am going to take a look. I'm going to show you. So if you look at the course, there are 10 main course content for the 3 of the courses you will Code High School offer to you. So Unit 1 is the career module. We're going to talk about this later. It is my star module for why. We're going to talk about this later. And then the Unit 2 is practice PT. You know, in the field, we often, I was from the field. I was a developer before. So basically in the field, programmers are working together as a team. So we want to mimic this practice in the classroom. We have a pair programming project here. The purpose of this one to get kids' feet wet with pair programming practice in your classroom. And then we're going to have the programming with Python. This is the very first unit, like you're going to introduce the hello world for any program language. We have this lesson. And then control structures for loop, while loop, and then branch statement, if else statement, functions, parameters. That's Unit 5. Unit 6 is practice PT, tell a story. And I'm going to just open up this one. The reason we want to have this one, we want to teach this one because we need to talk about procedure abstraction in the written response, also the multiple choice sections. And the Unit 7 is the one that there are differences between the Python APCSP and the JavaScript PSP, because this one talk about data structures. In Python, we use tuples, list, and in JavaScript, we use array. So only Unit 7, there are differences. The others are nearly identical. And then Unit 8 is digital information. These 8 units are the main content modules for APCSP. And then now let's take a look at this is the course overview. And then if you look at JavaScript lessons modules, the first 8 modules are exactly like the Python APCSP Python course, but the only difference is between two is the basic data structure. JavaScript use list array. That's the only differences. All others, practices, the examples, exercises are nearly identical. All right, so this is the two courses. Now, how about the third course? The high school often also offer the third course called APCSP Cybersecurity. And this is the course, this is the APCSP course with enhanced emphasis on cybersecurity. The first 8 modules, if you looping through from the top to the bottom, it is exactly like the APCSP JavaScript, because this course is built upon the JavaScript APCSP course. And the only difference is that there are 2 more modules to this one, to APCSP JavaScript. One is Unit 13, Cybersecurity. There are a lot of activities, lessons come from the National Cybersecurity Training and Education Center. This is the actual module, and Unit 14, Cyber Ethic, is another module that is more actual for you compare to APCSP JavaScript and APCSP cybersecurity. Any questions so far about the 3 courses we offered through Code High School for APCSP? All right, so you might ask, so why we have cybersecurity? How is this course going to benefit to our students' performance in this course? Well, in 2019, 2020, I have participated in the highlighting this course with National Cybersecurity Training and Education Center and Code High School. So, and I have found very interesting activities. So in the cyber lesson here, there are CIA triad, and they have like Alice, Bob, if. This is a very interesting activity. Let Me In is also, the kids love it. And then, you know, I take those lessons, activities, I imported to my course. So this is where I put those courses, that part of the lessons that I feel like my kids really love it. So I imported to here. So this helped the kids to develop a deeper understanding of the big idea 5, the impact of computing. The rest of the cyber lessons, activities, I will give to them after the AP exam, but those 4, I keep it, and the kids finish up before the AP exam. So this is this one. So any questions so far? All right, now let's go back to the our slides. So this is a talk about the course overview. I have done this. So based on the College Board curriculum framework, there are 5 big ideas in APCSP. And also there are 5 computational thinking practices. And these 5 big ideas and the 5 computational thinking practices are not directly translated into the modules in Code High School. There are 8 content modules in APCSP in Code High School, only 5 big ideas in it. So the 5 big ideas and then the 5 computational thinking practices are interwoven, go throughout each module. So that is very, very important for us to know. So now let's take a look at the AP course audit process. So the deadline is for by October 1st, but I strongly recommend you, I think you all have set it up, completed this process. So For new teachers, we need to set up a AP account, register with College Board AP account, and then once you set it up, you will be prompted to complete the AP audit process. And then during this time, at a certain time, we'll ask you to submit your course syllabus. And at that time, you want to look at the endorsed provider syllabus list. And then you can pick up CodeHS School syllabus. And then that's going to help you to pass the audit process. So once you finish the audit process, not only you can get a lot of you get a required confirmation of submission of your performance test, and you can get access to the secured materials such as the College Board question bank, practice tests, AP daily video daily, and then a lot of other resources your kids won't. We really want to expose them to our students, AP computer science students, at early year of your practice. So I have already set it up mine. I have already taken the AP quizzes daily when they come in. So we want to make sure you guys set it up this and then start using the great resources in the AP classroom. So this one we have to talk about it. So any questions about AP audit process? And also, in addition to the new teachers, the veteran teachers, you need to do this year as well, because there are a lot of new resources become available to you. So make sure you go through this process as well. Any questions? All right, so now let's take a look at the pacing. So CodeHS School AP-CSP syllabus has provided estimated time for for each unit, meaning how many weeks you want to discourse the content for this unit, and how many instructional hours you want to provide it for the student to digest the content in this unit. However, this is just suggestion. You can modify it based on the needs of your students and in the performance of your students in the AP classroom, and based on that, based on the data, make an adjustment. And then this carrier module is my start module. I say that is because this module is there's so much fun. Who do not like a dog, right? Carol and then the ball on the tennis field really have engaged all my students, especially usually AP-CSP students are the students who take AP-CSP course, and the AP-CS course usually is their first AP course. They have a lot of nervous energy within when they step into this course. But once they start the Carol module, they come down, they easy into programming. And it really is a good module for you to get started. Assign to your kids as a warm-up, and they will love it, and they will stay with you. And then the internet simulator is another feature that is make CodeHS School standing out, is because they presented the visual representation of the information travel through the internet, and then allow the kids to link the binary numbers with the images, the shape of the objects, or the color of the object with the digital processing, the binary number, the sequence of a binary number is really visual and help the kids to really understand what's going on in the background of the internet. And then we have another great feature, which is the binary bit editor. Again, is the representation of the binary number sequence and connect with the colors. Okay, it's very, very intriguing. The kids can really code and encode code and decode colors, and they really get excited when they get to expose those activities. Really engaging. So I have to talk about this before the APCSP, JavaScript, and APCSP Python. They are really designed by design. They are identical, and then they're examples, exercises are nearly identical, except Unit 7, the basic data structure, they are different. So we really want to, when you want to pick and choose which language you want to teach your kids, and then, it really depends the background of your children. Okay, so this is the only difference. And the cybersecurity, of course, we talked about this before. I gave you the overview. And this course is fully aligned with College Board APCSP curriculum and actually endorsed by the College Board. So what happened is Code High School were in partnership with National Cybersecurity Training and Education Center. I think back before 2019, and then they built APCSP cybersecurity course based on JavaScript course, and add the lessons created by the National Cybersecurity Training and Education Center, and then they build up one course, and then field tested, and then get evaluated, and then put into the platform. So again, it's this emphasis is APCSP cybersecurity emphasize the emphasize cybersecurity practice and ethic. So the underlying reason is that the kids getting into AP computer science principles, most likely they're going to become the developer, they're going to become the computer scientist. If they have this common practice in terms of the cybersecurity, they're going to build this component into their app, going to make our world safer, our digital world safer. That's why we have this. So if you need more resources, this is the hub, APCSP hub. You can click the link and get into it. Really lot resources offered by Code High School. So you can explore that. Any questions so far? Okay, now we get to this part. When I prepared for this session, I was asking myself what going to be the burning question for this session. So actually, I think really, I think a lot of teachers right now are thinking, how can I better prepare my students for the last hour's written response in the AP exam? In the past, before 2020, before last year, September last year, and then the year before the last AP exam, we really prepared the kids. The kids submit their written response based on their CRE test together, right, by end of April, and then they are done. But last year, is the first year College Board separate the PPR from the written response. So how can we better prepare for the written response? Because they are randomly picked up from 4 topic questions. Okay, so this is the piece. Now, if you look at this chart, I love this chart. Hang up in my classroom. I just take picture today. I thought it's going to help. So if you look at this chart, I want to just mention it along with what CRE task align with this chart, how this CRE task align this chart. If you look at 1.2, 1.3, that's the purpose, design and purpose and documentation. That is the row 3 of the CRE task. That's one of the written response questions the kids has to deal with during the AP exam. That's the rule 3. And then 1.4 is error testing. That's role 4. This is the hardest one based on my reading experience. Actually, last year I'm one of the AP table leaders, and one of the question I lead is this one. Is very few kids get a point. Okay, so this is the role 4. And then role 5 is the algo design going to be start from 3.1 to 3.6. And then the role 6 is data structure, and data and procedure abstraction going to be 3.9 up to procedure developing procedure, and also the 3.2 data abstraction. So all this, if you see where my cursor is swimming around, you're gonna say, oh, I need to teach the big idea 1, creative development, and the big idea 3, algorithm and programming. As soon as I land to my classroom, make sure the kids dive into those concepts deep enough so that they can be ready for create their own task. Not only that, generate prompt to help them to read the prompt accurately and respond the prompts accurately. That is really the needs. So if you have the burning question, how can I prepare my kids to the written responses? Those questions are randomly picked up by the College Board. This is how we do it. It's a lot of work, but the result is really amazing. So this is the chart. I really like it. If you you have this chart, make sure you use it all the time. So I have spent tons of time on that part. So this is the one that required for us to do as classroom AP computer science principals teachers. We need to provide non-protected hours in classroom to allow the kids to create their project, create task. Okay, so they can collaborate with each other to create to design the app and code the app. But the PPR, the personal project reference, has to be independent. All right, so they can complete this one towards end of the course, which I tends not go with that road, because after spring break their brain is not there. So I recommend to finish the create test before spring break. And you don't have to give 1 hour, 90 minutes per day. You can just 45 minutes per day, and 45 minutes you provide instruction. Actually, that works better. And that's, again, at least 2-3 weeks to review. So I recommend finish up the create test before spring break. And in performance test, again, you must have all those components. So your videos, your code should generate video. The video should clearly shows input and output and process. And then you should use at least one list. Okay, we're going to show you example. It's not that complicated after you see the example. So the procedure has to take at least one parameter. And then the procedure should have selection and iteration. If you have a selection and iteration, if your code has this, you should have a sequencing. Okay, so that's 3 processes of an algorithm. So this has to be in your procedure. And then they must be able to describe 2 different calls. That is the value you provided to the procedure in place of the parameter called argument. The kids has to know the differences between parameter and argument. And then it should execute 2 different paths. That's selection, right? So this is the part your kids need to submit before or by April 30th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So a video of the program run, again, must have clearly show inputs, outputs. We have some kids that earned the point this year because, it doesn't show clearly the input, output. And the program code and the personal project reference, that's the 4 chunk of the code that the kid's gonna submit, and then they're gonna do the written response based on this personal project reference. Okay, so we talk about this, and then the key is you have to have a list, and you have to have student developed find procedure with at least one parameter. And we will show you the examples, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I have iterative and a conditional statement. And I should have a sequencing, but if you have this too, you have a sequencing. And then both list and procedure call cannot be trivia. This is a very important. And there are some examples. If you have time, I can show you. But if you have a list just to use twice, that will not earn the point for data abstraction. So this is a great example, meet all the minimum requirement for the procedure setup. Actually, if you take a look at it, it says, I want to find this target on the list. There are two parameters here. If the target is on the list, and then I say, oh, it's in the list. If not, it's not on the list. So this is a search algo. If you read this code, it's a search algorithm, and we need to teach them the search algorithm from inside outside. We need to teach them really understand what it is. So how do you provide arguments so that they can go through different paths? So you want to guide your students to pick up item on the list. This is the list, and then pick up an item not on the list. Let's say this list is the ocean, is the grocery store, and then you're gonna pick up the tomato, and then this is gonna be, oh, this is in the list, and then you're gonna pick up like a seashell is not on the list. It's gonna go through this path. This is how the seashell and then tomato are the two arguments. So we need to really teach the vocabulary. A lot of kids, I see that they don't know what is Boolean value. They don't know what is argument. They do not know what is parameter. We need to teach them. So the deadline, the kids must be the PPR must be submitted on the digital portfolio by April 30th. And then if not, student will not earn any points will not be provided during the AP exam. They cannot earn any points. And they cannot have a comment in their PPR, or they cannot use course content. Let's say you provide mock support to your students and you have two. If they submit one of the mock project, then you're gonna stop them. Otherwise, they're gonna get 0 for the performance test. That's 30 points. So during the time we teach the kids, we want to model the language. This is exactly the language being used when the kids submit their PPR to the digital portfolio. Okay? So that's exactly the language they use. We want to make sure they understand so they can choose the correct one and put into College Board. The procedure developed by the students and the procedure call. What does that mean? And then this is the second part of the prompt in the digital portfolio. Exactly the language. Make sure we model it, a list, and how lists help manage complexity. So now the burning question: how can I better help my kids to be prepared for the written response in the last hour during AP exam? So this gonna help you. So this is the 1.2 big idea, 1.2, 1.3, design, function, and purpose. This is actually easier to prepare, okay? Easier to prepare. And then you want to think of questions, design some questions. You can even use AI to develop some questions, but you have to read it carefully and make sure it's not off. And then give it to the kids to write based on chunk of the code you provide for them or they developed. And then the number 2 algorithm development is row. This is a row 3, and then this is row 4, 5. This is in the big idea 3, and errors testing is 1.4. Data procedure abstraction is in the big idea 3. All those we want to spend as many questions as possible to to help kids to develop their AP computer science literacy in reading and writing. There's no other way around. Maybe 1 hour, 1 day, 15 minutes warm up, we do this, reading and writing. And then those are the sample prompts from College Board provided by College Board last year. Guess what? This year's written response is like they pulled identical from some of the sample prompts. But next year will not be this lucky, so we really have to make sure we teach this very nicely, because that's 30 points. So the grading, scoring, how can we help kids provide constructive feedback to help kids continuously improve their reading and writing and computer science literacy skills? This can be this can be supported by both Code High School lessons and especially AP classroom formative performance test questions. In the grading part is really hard. If you have like 150 kids in your class, you grade every time they write it, you read, you give them one-on-one feedback. That's a lot of work, but it gives you outstanding result. So we do have to do that. And the good news is we have 2 sample performance tests both in JavaScript and Python, and have executable code, video, and written responses. If I say one of the nuggets you can take from this event, this is one of the nuggets. If I were you, I'm gonna look into this 2 sample question. If you use JavaScript, use the 2 samples from JavaScript. If you use Python, you go to get Python one. Look at the code and run the code, and then develop some flow charts and then teach your kids those if you don't have your own. And then make sure you read written responses, and the 2 sample code are perfect, designed perfectly, okay? And then the PPR selected perfectly. However, one scored higher than another. Why? It's because the written response is the key, okay? If our kids create a perfect game, but they do not know what they are doing, do not know the terminology, they will not be able to get a good score, okay? I think, getting score, to me, getting score is my, get a good score is one of my, motivations. I know we want the kids to develop computer science literacy, but by doing this, we truly develop their competency in reading and writing in computer science, in the subject of computer science. So I'm going to show you where you can find these 2 samples. This is really one of the best nuggets Code High School provided so far for this course. So if you look at, let me see here, if you look at the module 16, let me go to here. If you look at module 16 is right here, okay? So if you look at module 6, you look at the 16.3, and then you look at here, APCSP Python test. I use Python, so I'm gonna go here and click here, and then you're gonna click this. It's kind of slow. This gives you the description of the activity, and then you're gonna click this arrow. Now you get to here, okay? So the program code, the description, I love how Code High School put out this instruction. It's exactly like what the kids will see when they submit a digital portfolio, okay? So this is the program code, and you can literally get it, and then you can take out, you can code with your kids if you don't have your own, okay? And then you can help them to ask them to identify the procedure call, the list, and how list help manage complexity. And this is the perfect teaching sample for you. And then this is the video where it shows clearly what is the input and what is output. I'm not going to show you because I ran out of time. And then the personal reference PPR. You see the language exactly like what I show you in the slides. So this is the first chunk of the code. This is a student developed procedure called calculate. The parameter is type. And then you have a loop, you have if else, this is bingo. This is sufficient for the kids to answer all the 4 questions. And then this is a procedure call. And then whatever the kids put in, the type either M or D, going to be the argument. And then the list, this is the list. Use second number, that's fine. And then this is how the second number get processed, used to manage complexity in the program. Okay, so this is the example. And if you look at this, does that make sense to you? And this is going to make sense to the kids. The kids know, oh, that's what it is. I haven't talked so much, and now with the example, they understand it. And now the written possible, the written response. And this one get a 6 of 6. And then the second example, I'm not going to show you. I ran off time. You're going to go to the 16, 3.6, and then there's another 3.7 going to be another one, which is the encryption part of it. And then you take a look at that one. Is a perfect example, but because the written response didn't address the prompt to the points, and they didn't get the max point. So in short, develop app and develop perfect PPR doesn't guarantee you to get the perfect score. You have to be able to answer to the points. We have to train our kids to do that. All right, any questions so far?
Yeah, Eldon had a question earlier. He was asking if CodeHS and AP Classroom move through content in the same order.
Well, it doesn't move. That's a great question. Does not move in the same order. So let me show you what I did with my students. So the order, for example, that's really great question. So if you use the chart I shared with you, the big idea from 1 to 5, if you teach in that order, you need to really go into the CodeHS school and grab the key component aligned with it. So for example, I use the chart I shared with you, the curriculum at a glance. And then the number system 2.1 is number system, right? The data big idea is data, and then 2.1 is number system. In CodeHS school, you have the 8.1 to 8.3 teach the number system. Is it in the digital information part? And then in 2.1, and then in the internet session is also touch the number system. As I mentioned before previously, CodeHS, the 5 big idea are not directly translate into the units in CodeHS school. So you have to sort it out. Am I confused you? Have I answered your question? It's good? Okay, all right. So, so you want to sort it out. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. So this is really a nugget for you guys. If you haven't taken a look at it yet, take a look at it. When you have taught, when you finish taught your kids, when you finish the unit 1 and the unit 3, get to 3.14, 3.15, you can start teach your kids this lesson. Okay, mark the create task. And then you can just really, every time you come in, give 15 minutes to do the written response. And then now we get to the exam review materials. And you all know there are 3 hours now. And in the first 2 hours, the kids are expected to answer 17 multiple choice questions. They're going to earn 70 points. The second part is a little bit harder based on my observation and experience. They have a 5 single select with the reading passage. This is about computational innovation. So we want to really give them reading passage about a self-driving car and grab 3 questions and then see how they analyze data, security concerns, and then privacy concerns. So those are the things. Made multiple select, multiple choice questions. You have to get it 2 right, earn the point. The questions are very easy. The hard part is you get 1 wrong, you don't earn the points. We need to train our kids. 4 written response prompts, and you're gonna finish up in 60 minutes. So the kids get it, you can use up, take advantage of 60 minutes. The kids really do not know the vocabularies. They will just cannot do anything. So it's very, very important we teach them vocabularies. All right, so this is this. And then the beautiful thing is Code High School offers AP practice throughout the course. You want to see those. And also at the end of the AP CSP in Python or in JavaScript, you have this preparation and then practice AP exam offered by Code High School. You're going to use that. And then you also have AP CSP question of the day. And this is really good because of this written response thing, the burning questions about how to prepare our kids to be ready for the written response. This is really come to handy for teaching. I pull out this, I discuss the three processes of the algorithm and what is the procedure, what is parameter, what is argument, so you can teach them throughout the year. And this is really good. I will show you at the end. This is a different separate course, okay? They have the review quizzes, part 1, part 2, and also have reader question bank quizzes. It's really good. When how do I use it? When my kids really get tired of AP classroom, I switch them to this. And guess what? Give them a new set of parameters, and then they get re-engaged again, engage it again. So I'm going to show you how you're going to get this link to your course. AP
So
class.
let me just stop you for a minute. I know we're already a couple minutes over. I know some people had to leave, but I did in the chat. In the chat, I did put the certificate of completion link again for those of you who didn't click it at the beginning. I also put for everyone the webinar survey, if you could take our webinar survey. And I had somebody ask about the recording. We will send the recording out in the next couple of days to anyone who registered for this event. So everyone will get the recording in their email.
All right. Do you want me to stop or continue?
I would maybe go 2 minutes.
I'm gonna go fast. So this is the AP classroom resources. You can use it. Question bank. The question bank is really amazing, and then you can also customize the quizzes, and then that's really helpful. And then this is the date. You guys want to take a picture of it. October 1st, deadline for auditing, and then the PPR due on the April 30th, and the test, the exam, May 15th, no time. That's it. Thank you, guys.